So I said, I'm going to make some changes. I'm not going to work weekends. My weekends are my own. I'm going to pull back on taking calls after a certain hour. I'm going to focus on doing things that I know bring me joy and bring me a sense of peace and gratitude, which is gardening and focusing on my home. So I've been doing a lot of that. And I think that pulling back has also allowed me to be like, you know what? You don't have to, like, it's okay to transition to be in a different space. Like what you were in 2022, you know, the top dog, the big agent, like it's okay to shift to being who you are in this season. I'm going to be a different person in this season. So I'm exploring other opportunities. You know, what we're doing and bringing back Mamas on the Move, I feel like is essential and important for us. It's important for other women. But I also feel like, you know what, this is what we owed ourselves, which we committed to years and years ago, which we said, you know what, God connected us for a reason. And I feel like, okay, as part of what he wants, his will for our lives, I feel like this is a part of it, you know? So I feel like that's going to give me more time to even focus on this if I pull back from other things. Because at the end of the day, we are still, you are Keshia and I'm Brandi, and if we don't devote more time to focusing on our health and wellness, then who are we to anybody else?
Right. We have to put ourselves.
We got to put ourselves first. And that was the biggest aha for me in all of this, is to pull back and just kind of do things a little different in this new season.
I think for me it was because I moved in with Angie and Dutch in May of last year, and I was there until the week before Thanksgiving. So I had a couple of little times where I came back to get more stuff or whatever. But I think that one was we have to be fiscally responsible, because I had no idea that I would have to be out of work like that.
Yeah.
Two, and I didn't miss a beat, thank God, you know, financially. And two, you have to be in service to others, because you never know, and not because you're gonna need somebody to help you, but I had made so many deposits that I was never short on help.
That's right.
And support. You get what I'm saying? Because I had made enough deposits into other people. So I think that's an important message that I want people to understand too. And lastly, I feel like, okay, this is another thing. Okay, God, what is it that you're trying to tell me? Because you done already tested me a whole lot of times, and I feel like I kind of want to not take no more tests like this, you know. But let me tell you what I feel like was like a real aha moment for me. So one day Angie and I came over here. Well, it was two. One was when we were in the kitchen and I still had the drains and all this stuff. And I talked about it in, I think, the second episode. My second video that I dropped. But we were in the kitchen like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was still in a lot of pain because I was probably 3 weeks out of the double mastectomy. And I was telling her I was going to go home. It was time for me to go home. And she looked at me and she said, well, you grown. Ain't nothing I can, you know. But let me tell you a story. So she goes on to tell me this story about how she, you know, she grew up with her auntie and they was really into the church and so on and so forth. And the way she came to something that said, the way they are kind of like, they church, but I feel like I control my life, not God. So she had a time where she didn't believe in God. And I was shocked. I was like, what?
Wow.
And she said, yeah. She said, I did. She said, and everything I wanted, and I set a goal, I achieved it. So in my mind, I felt like I was, you know, this is what she's saying, in control of things. She said, until God took my whole family. And you know, Kim, who was y'all's, you know, your soror, you and Renee's from down in Georgia. What happened with Kim? And then her mom died not long after that from cancer, because just this loss and the grief of her child. She just never recovered from that. And Miss Minka said, Minka was her mother's name, because I know you think about my niece Minka, but Minka was her mother's name, and she told her that, you know, let me go. And Angie said, so I'm sharing that story with you to say, you have gone through a lot. She was like, we all acknowledge you've been through a lot, but it's clear that God is trying to tell you something. It's a message he's trying to get to you. And until you receive it and honor what he's trying to tell you, he's just going to keep upping the ante in your life. And so that was like okay. And the second one was when she came here one time for me to get some clothes. No, it was time for me to move back. And I said, okay, well, you know, I'm good. Miss Vilma was still coming to clean. And Angie said, I can't let you move back in this house like this. And initially I'm like, what you mean? Ain't nothing wrong with my house. You know, it's like, she was like, no, nothing's wrong with your house. She said, but it's not peaceful. And I don't feel happiness when I come in your home. And so I'm still offended. Like, well, what you saying, Angie? Like, what do you mean? And she was like, your house is still, I still feel like the grieving spirit in your house. He said, this house needs to be cleaned out. And so I'm kind of like, okay, so she took charge, got the organizer over and everything like that. So the first day was hard because she was trying to throw away all Daryl's stuff.
Oh, wow.
And all of his clothes and stuff had been gone, but it was like, I didn't even realize how much of his stuff was still here.
Wow.
And my mama's. And so she, you know, it took about 2 weeks because it was very emotional for me to tell Angie to take the story. She said one time she pulled out some DVDs, and I was like, no, you put that back. You know, she was like, okay, I'm putting them back over here. But what I didn't realize that, you know, with all love and respect, having all of that energy from people who are no longer here in my home was blocking what God had for me. And even the way the sofas were at the time, they were this way. So it was blocking anything that may have tried to come in my home that was and when I tell you, that's what that encouraged me to redo the living room, dining room, stuff like that. But it was like, that happened in November. The first guy that I dated briefly, I met in January. And then I met my guy that I'm dating now right after that, like in March. But I truly believe there were channels opened up when I cleared out the old. It made room for the new. I really believe that. And I could not see that living in this house. So even though it was very drastic, you know, having to, and to have somebody that loves you enough to let you live with them for that amount of time. And you came to visit, you know how loving they are and supportive and just good people. But me trying to come home, and twice she was like, I'm just not at peace with you leaving right now. I'm just not at peace. I don't feel like, and then when she came here, in the same way the person I had a meeting with a couple of weeks ago said, I could only receive that from you. I think I can only receive that from Angie because I know her heart. We go back to 6th grade. Yeah. And I just know how she's just, her and Dutch are just special people. They're just special people. And if I wish that everybody could have an Angie and a Dutch, but they loved, I mean, I'm telling you, like, she prayed over the pillow I was going to sleep on for weeks before I got there. She prayed and asked our mothers to come together in the helping of the healing of me. Like, it was just, and we were sitting on the patio, which, you know, that's where I always sat for hours a day, sat on the patio. And when me and Angie sat there, when I first got there, maybe like day 3, the first couple of days, you're just kind of out of it. A red bird just came and sat right in front of me and Angie and stayed on the balcony. And I was like, it's got to be our mom. Like, that's what we felt. And we both just kind of got like, but it was just that whole thing, the whole experience of, you know, I had to put pride aside because I had to have help, you know? And so I think those were my 2 aha moments. It's just like community, family, because I believe God, I know for sure, God sends you your people. Yeah. So that's why I always tell people, like, you know, some people like, well, I don't have my mom wasn't here. God will send you another mother. It may not be the one who gave birth to you, but if that person is not able to be there for you the way that you deserve, he will send you your people. I firmly believe that, but you also have to make deposits. Yeah, we got a lot of wide receivers out there. I'm learning football because Brian loves football, so we got a lot of wide receivers out there. That's a good analogy. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of people who love to catch, but they ain't never throwing. That's the back guy.
Yeah, the quarterback.
So we need more. Yeah, we need more wide receivers. We got a lot of quarterbacks. Yeah, quarterback throw. Yeah,
and what a gift! What a gift Angie and Dutch were to you, and you know, and your tribe. You know, you always make mention of your tribe, and I'm grateful to be a part of that tribe. And you know, it was we would have a time over there. Oh yeah, you know, coming to visit you. Yeah, we would have some great times. Yeah, and I'm also, I feel like this experience for me, I've been on like a little joy cloud, and my joy cloud comes from just being grateful, one, for the fact that it was caught so early. Grateful, two, for my support system. My husband was right there. My mother was right there. You know, every day she came over. Thank God my mama lives in our backyard, right? So how beautiful was that setup? You know, my husband had to work, so she. Well,
y'all built her a house. She has a tiny house. I know, right? She don't live in the backyard. Like, listen, okay, Brandi ain't, you know, them Lifetime. It ain't no Lifetime movie stuff going on. You know what I mean? It ain't no Lifetime movie.
Let me clarify. My husband built my mama a house in our backyard, okay? Right. She has a tiny house in our backyard. So she lives, you know, just a few feet away. She came over every morning, helped, you know, feed me, change my drains, all that stuff. My husband would help too. And, you know, just to feel loved and supported, you know, and not only by them, by my children, by my friends, you know, y'all were there. Y'all came over the night before and prayed with me. Like, you know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be in a position to have that kind of a support system, because I don't know what it looks like to not